Hello everyone, it's always a pleasure to be with you once again. I would like to start by saying thank you very much to all the English-speaking followers. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here. Also, I would like to invite all those people who love the indigenous culture and the indigenous art to follow the upcoming 10th Asinabka Film and Media Arts Festival that is taking place this coming September 15th through September 19th. And today, we're going to have the pleasure to talk to Howard Adler, who is the co-director and also the co-founder of this festival, who will tell us also a little bit more about this year's festival. Welcome, Howard, to Quienes, Somos. First, I want to say thank you for having us over and joining us today. But before we start talking about the festival, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, Bojo Ani, Howard Indishnikas, Wabjashi Nodem, Nezatakang Donjaba. My name is Howard Adler. I'm an Anishinaabe and Jewish, band member of a First Nation called Lac de Melac First Nation, also known as Nezatakang. And I live here in Ottawa, Ontario, unceded Algonquin territory. And I'm the co-director and founder of the Asinabka Film and Media Arts Festival, currently in our 10th year, and just really excited for the upcoming festival. And excited.
So Howard, that's a very interesting background that you have, Jewish and indigenous. Who's indigenous in your family?
So my mom is First Nations and my dad is Jewish, and my mom's from northwestern Ontario, Treaty 3 territory.
Okay.
She grew up in Kenora and in Savannah, along the Savannah River, which is just runs into the Lac de Melac First Nation.
Up north, close to Manitoba, I would assume, no?
Not quite, almost. It's in Ontario. It's about an hour and a half northwest of Thunder Bay.
Okay. Yeah. Now, Howard, with regards to the fest, which is the main reason why we have you here, tell us a little bit more about where the festival come about. Was an event that may have triggered you to create this festival? Was a personal motivation or inspiration? Tell us a little bit more about the festival.
So, I guess I have a background in film. I've been making films since high school, basically, Christopher Wong, my co-director of the festival, he also had background in arts and film as well. So that was kind of like where our interest in starting the film festival came from. But what actually was the catalyst for it was really we were meeting up on Victoria Island probably 11 years ago to practice Ojibwe every Sunday. We were just doing it for fun, And then one time we were leaving, and it started pouring rain, and we were walking right past the Library Archives Canada, and they have a theater in there, and so we took refuge in the building, and there happened to be a Bollywood film festival, from India, happening at the time in the cinema there. So we took in a Bollywood film, and it was great, and we laughed, but it got us thinking about why there wasn't an Indigenous film festival in Ottawa, and we were like, hey, why don't we screen some Indigenous films in the city? And so that was kind of the inspiration or catalyst for it. And the next thing we knew, we were planning our first edition of the festival. Yeah.
So the fact that you saw, I would say, a film festival or a movie from the country India, that triggered the inspiration to have a film regarding only Indigenous, I would say?
Kinda, yeah. Well, it was we had already been talking about doing an event or doing something, and then that just kind of got us talking. It got the ball rolling on talking about film. more specifically. And then like we were also thinking about how Toronto has had Imaginative for years and years at that time. Vancouver had an Indigenous Film Festival. I think Thunder Bay had had an Indigenous Film Festival as well. And so basically other cities in Canada had these festivals that were about Indigenous film, and we were like, well, let's start one here.
Like staying behind and being the Canadian capital city, right?
Exactly. We're in the national capital. This is like where Indigenous stories should be heard, in the center of power in this country, where politicians are working.
Exactly.
They need to hear the voices of Indigenous people, and I think film and media art is a really good method of transmitting those voices and those stories.
And Asinabka, I believe, is the first, I would say, festival with that regards?
Well,
in Ottawa.
In Ottawa, there's the Solstice Festival. So there's been probably many other Indigenous events and Indigenous festivals, but we were the first specific to film and media art. So,
I see.
Yeah.
Now, Howard, with regards to the current ongoing situation of the residential school across Canada, where a lot of children remains have been found, tell us a little bit more. What are you hope to accomplish with the Asinabka Festival with these regards about the residential schools?
Well, I guess I don't really think that I don't really think that our goal or our hopes with the festival have really changed all that much this year from past years. We've always been about showcasing Indigenous arts and prioritizing Indigenous perspectives, Indigenous storytelling, and Indigenous sovereignty on screen. And so, I mean, the thing is that with residential schools, it's not a new story for Indigenous people. We've known about these histories for a very long time. Most Indigenous people that you talk to will be the descendants or the children of they'll either be residential school survivors themselves or the children or grandchildren of residential school survivors. So in our communities, we know very intimately the horrific stories that happened, and I'm also the child of a residential school survivor and the grandchild and nephew of residential school survivors. So, I think if you talk to any Indigenous person, they can tell you stories and connect to those histories. And I think really our festival is just about showcasing Indigenous perspectives. And it's kind of a shame that it took, so much time for the awareness of residential schools and to kind of be more known in Canada. Growing up, I remember talking to people and they didn't know what. Like I had a roommate that just had never heard of residential schools before, and it's like living in Europe and not knowing what the Holocaust was, right? It's kind of comparable in terms of like the effects on Indigenous peoples' cultures, languages, and just like it actually being a form of genocide.
You said something, Howard, that really captivated my attention, that it never crosses my mind to even mention it in camera or off camera before, because I've known you before, right? I've known you for a couple of years already. It's interesting to know that you have two backgrounds that have gone basically through the same genocide. A lot of people don't want to take the situation that happened to the Indigenous community in Canada as a genocide. And your father was a Jewish, and he went through the Holocaust situation. And your mother is a residential survivor, and both people, when you think about it, they basically went almost through the same hell when it came about colonizing and genocide, right? Mm-hmm. Howard, if people that do not know much about the Indigenous culture and might be interested to get to know more, they can take advantage of the Asinabka, did I say it right? Asinabka festival coming up soon. How can they, I know last year, because of the pandemic situation, it was all virtually, right? Mm-hmm. But now, as far as I'm concerned, the people had the option to do it virtually and also on site. Can you tell us a little bit more about where can they go or how?
Sure. So Asinabka Festival is both online and in person today, or not today,
this year.
This year. So basically, if you're in Ottawa and you want to come to attend events in person, you can totally do that. We're doing our opening film screening and opening event at the Club Saw in Ottawa. It's on Nicholas Street. And we're going to have a film called Ramblin' screening. Ramblin' is a feature-length dramatic work. It's by an American director. And it's a hilarious comedy. So
it's a comedy.
It's a comedy, and we're going to have some performances and DJ. So it's going to be, and some food. We're going to have some actually Latin food, pupusas and pupusas and empanadas to serve people. It's going to be a fun evening. So that's our opening.
That's on September 15th, right?
September 15th, and then we also have film screenings at the Ottawa Art Gallery, and we have an art show at Gallery 101. And we have a pop-up event at La Via Restaurant in Vancouver.
Via Latina Restaurant on Montreal, I believe, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So, so that if you're in person, come on by. There's lots of there's basically one in-person event a day for 5 days during the festival, and then if you also only want to come to one event or something, or you can also attend the festival online. So all the films are available on our website. You can buy a ticket through Eventbrite. There's only 5 tickets available to buy. There's 1 ticket per each day of the festival, and that ticket each ticket will get you access to all the films listed for that day.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Now, Howard, if a person, let's say from Toronto or from other parts of the world, go online and buy a ticket, how would that work? They buy the ticket, they will receive a link with a password or something to be able to see the screening?
Yeah. So basically, most of the films are accessible anywhere in the world, basically. There's a few films that have geo-blocking or geofencing, so basically they're restricted to Canadian audiences only.
I see.
But many of the films are not geo-blocked. So if you live in the United States or in New Zealand, for example, you can still buy a ticket and watch most of the films on our website. Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Asinabka Festival is not only for local indigenous communities. It can also participate from other countries' indigenous community?
Oh, for sure. So we kind of consider our festival to be international. Every year we screen indigenous films from Canada, but also from all over the world: the United States, South America, Central America, New Zealand, parts of like Northern Europe where there's Sami people, and Russia. So all over the world there's indigenous people, and they're making film and media-based work and telling their stories, and that's the work we showcase.
Now, any other information that our followers that are aware of this festival now can be found in the website. What is the website?
Sure. So if you want to learn more about the Asinabka Festival, just visit us online at asinabkafestival.org. It's ASINABKA, and follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. So
for any information that the follower might want to ask, you have an email and everything that and the website that they can contact and everyone, right?
Our entire film program and all of our events are listed on our website. So check our website for full program details. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Howard, all I have to say is I hope the fest will be a success again, like it has been for the last 10 years. To our followers, English-speaking, Spanish-speaking, and any other ethnic community that want to learn more about the festival and the indigenous culture, now this is the opportunity. You can go onto the website that is on the screen and find out more information about that. Don't also forget that, like me, there's no two, and like Howard,
there's no two.
Only one, right?
There's only one.
There you go. Thank you again. Until next time.